Hello, students. Welcome back to another class of English. And what we are going to do today is the second chapter of your book, Snapshots. The first chapter has been finished, all the exercise and question answers have been discussed, and the test day for you for English subject is Wednesday. So please keep in mind that on Wednesday, that will be the next Wednesday, today is Wednesday. So the next Wednesday, there will be a test of two chapters. The first, which has been completed recently, that is The Summer of the White Beautiful Horse, and the second one, The Address. So please see it carefully, and I am now announcing that there is a test on Wednesday. So start preparing the chapter which has been completed and this one simultaneously. Okay, so let's begin this chapter. The name is The Address. You can see the title is Address. So definitely this chapter is going to be about some address. First of all, about the author, about the writer, Maga Menko. Born Sarah Menko, 31st March 1920, age 95 when she died. Netherlands, pen name Maga Menko, occupation journalist, writer language Dutch. Her real surname was Menko, but an official accidentally switched the first vowel. Accidentally. It became Minko. The story is a moving short story of Maga Menko during World War II, that was from 1939 to 1945. During the World War II, Germany invades Holland. Holland is defeated. A woman with her daughter has to run from her home. The mother dies. Long after the war, the daughter comes back to her town. She meets the woman with whom her mother had left all her belongings. The woman even refuses to recognize her. So the lady who had died in the war gave all her belongings to another lady, trusting her that if she would come alive after the war, she would take her belongings back. Okay, the mother was dead, but the daughter was alive and she wanted to have her belongings back. But what happened? The lady was so selfish with whom the belongings were, she even refused to recognize the daughter. Nor does she show any intention of returning the things she has in her possession. If she is not recognizing her, she was not having any kind of intention of returning the belongings. She, means Maga Menko, the narrator, gives up the idea of getting them back. Them refers to the belongings. She decides to leave all of them behind. She just wants to move on, leaving all the belongings behind. She resolves to forget the address where those belongings lie unceremoniously, you can say tastelessly, in unpleasant surroundings. She had seen the belongings in that lady's house, but she finally gives up the idea and she thinks to move on. This is the summary of the chapter. Main points of the chapter are: Mrs. S's daughter visits number 46 Marconi Street. This is the address. You will have to learn it very carefully because you're going to use it in many of the answers. Number 46 Marconi Street. And the lady who have died in the war is Mrs. S, and Maga Menko, the narrator, is Mrs. S's daughter. And she comes to the address 46 Marconi Street. The narrator was at number 46 Marconi Street. She was the daughter of Mrs. S. She pressed the bell. A woman opened the door. She looked at the newcomer searching. She was Mrs. Dorling. It is Mrs. Dorling, Dorling. Sorry for the mistake here. The narrator introduced herself. The woman's face showed absolutely no sign of recognition. When the girl came and she pressed the bell, a lady came outside. The narrator said, I am Mrs. S's daughter. And the lady, she did not have any, you can say, expression on her face that she was going to recognize her. She kept staring at her in silence. The girl had once seen the woman years ago. She realized that perhaps she had rung the wrong bell. Narrator thought maybe she had come on wrong address. But soon her doubt was set to rest. But suddenly her doubt was finished, ended, because she saw something which proved that she was on the right address. The woman was wearing her mother's green knitted cardigan. She was at the right place. So the lady who had the belongings of the narrator was wearing a green cardigan. This cardigan belonged to the narrator's mother. She was not recognizing her, but this cardigan actually proved that the narrator was on right place. The woman refuses to recognize the girl. The girl asked the woman if she still knew her. Mrs. Darling replied that she did not. She stood there dumbfounded, silent, shocked. The narrator then told her that she was the daughter of Mrs. S. She further tells her whole details. The woman asked, "Have you come back?" It means the woman somewhere started started recognizing her. Have you come back? It means, have you come back from the war? It was clear that she was not pleased to see the girl again. It was clear from her face. She was not happy that the girl was alive. The mother was dead, but the girl was alive. And why was this lady living at number 46 Marconi Street was not pleased, was not happy? Because now she would have to return the belongings. That was the reason she was not happy that this girl was alive. It was clear that she was not pleased to see the girl again. The girl replied that she was the only one who survived and came back. She was the only one of both, mother and daughter. Means only she was able to survive and come back. Mother was not. She clearly wants to say that her mother is dead. The woman expressed regret that she could not do anything for her. The woman said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do anything for you." The narrator told her that she had specially come for her by train. She wanted to talk to her for a moment. Actually, she wanted to have her belongings back. But the lady showed her helplessness. She said she was not ready to entertain the girl. She could come at another time. This girl, narrator, wanted to talk to that lady about her belongings, and the lady knew that if she would talk to the narrator, she would demand her belongings back. That is the reason she gave excuse. "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't talk to you right now. Please come another time." So the first visit of the narrator was a completely failed visit. Then, returning, narrator thought of her mother. It took a long time for the narrator to visit the address as she was afraid of being confronted to things, confronted to face. Somewhere, if the person who is very dear to you and the person is dead, and if you see the things connected with that person who is dead and was very dear to you, it gives you pain, right? If somebody is dead and you see his or her clothes or utensils or anything else, jewelry, then it would start giving you pain. The memories would be started rejuvenating. दोबारा से आपको memories फिर से आने लग जाएंगे. The narrator got lost in old memories. She thought about her mother. She had given her the address of Mrs. Darling years ago. The mother had given the address to her daughter that if I do not come back after the war, or please keep in mind this address, after the war had finished, we would have to go and take our belongings back. That is the reason the mother had given that address to the daughter. Holland was war stricken. It had been in the first half of the war. She remembered how she came home for a few days. She noticed that various things in the house were missing. So she is remembering when she started noticing that the things were gonna missing from her house. She in the first half of the war she came back, and when she came back home, she noticed that many of the things were missing. Her mother then told her about Mrs. Dorling. At this point, in the first half of the war, the mother told her about Mrs. Dorling. She had never heard of her before. Mrs. Dorling, who was Mrs. S's friend, her name was never heard before by Mrs. S's daughter. Clearly, Mrs. Dorling must have been an old acquaintance, an old known person of her mother. Suddenly, Mrs. Dorling started coming regularly to their house. See, before the war, Mrs. Dorling never came to Mrs. S's house. But when the war started and Mrs. Dorling wanted the things of Mrs. S, she had that kind of greed since the beginning. She knew that these people would have to suffer due to war. So Mrs. S started giving her the belongings, and for that greed only, Mrs. Dorling started visiting regularly Mrs. S's house. And now she is of the intention that she doesn't want to give the belongings back. So she has that greed since the beginning. Mrs. Dorling's frequent visits are now described by the narrator. Mrs. Dorling came frequently. Every time she visited, she took something with her. She came empty handed, but when she went away, she took something with her at least. One day, she took all the silverware, then she took away the antique plates hung on the wall. Mrs. S told her daughter that Mrs. Dorling wanted to save all her articles. Means the lady is coming and she's carrying such heavy things to her house, and Mrs. S thought that Mrs. Dorling is so nice at heart. She wanted to save their old things so that after war she would be returning all the things, but in reality it was not so. It was wartime. If they had to leave the place, they would lose everything. The daughter wanted to know if there was a written agreement that Mrs. Dorling would return all the articles safely. Was there any contract? The girl could not trust anyone so blindly, and the girl was right in her doubt. Mrs. Dorling was not at all trustworthy. Mrs. S replied that it was not necessary. Mrs. S was thankful to Mrs. Dorling for what she was doing for her, all that happened years ago. So Mrs. S is so innocent, so good at heart, and so kind at mind that she thinks that she should be thankful to Mrs. Dorling, who is facing all this trouble due to just helping Mrs. S and her daughter. She doesn't know that Mrs. Dorling inside has the greed for that all belongings, and she's not doing all this for Mrs. S, she's actually doing this for herself. Second visit to Mrs. Dorling's house. So Mrs. Dorling said to come another time. Daughter Maga Minko again went to that address. The narrator's first visit was not rewarding, it was not fruitful. She paid a second visit to see Mrs. Dorling. This time she found her 15-year-old daughter in the house. So this time, luckily, when she reached Mrs. Dorling's house, Mrs. Dorling was not there. The door was opened by Mrs. Dorling's 15 years old daughter. So on both sides there are daughters of two ladies. The narrator, who was the daughter of Mrs. S, and that 15-year-old girl who was the daughter of Mrs. Dorling. Mrs. Dorling is not at home in the second visit. The daughter opened the door. She decided to wait for Mrs. Dorling. And now the daughter sees her mother's belonging. The narrator was allowed to come into the house by Mrs. Dorling's daughter. In the first visit, she was just on the door. She was not allowed to come inside. But now she had entered the house, and when she entered, she saw that on every corner she could see her own things. The belongings which were given by her mother to Mrs. Dorling to keep them safely were actually being in regular use by Mrs. Dorling. Mrs. Dorling's house was full of the belongings of narrator and Mrs. S. The narrator found herself in the midst of the things once they belonged to her mother. She wanted to see them again. All those things were taken away by Mrs. Dorling and kept here in her house. She was pained to note that they were arranged tastelessly. It was not as per the taste of the narrator and Mrs. S. They were arranged differently. Every person has a different way to arrange the things. The ugly furniture and the muggy smell upset her. The girl brought tea for her, for Mrs. S's daughter, for the narrator. Then she opened a box and took some spoons out of it. The narrator also looked at the antique plates, which were actually of Mrs. S and were given to Mrs. Dorling. She knew that all the cutlery, knives, forks, and spoons were of silver. Her mother had told her about them when she was alive. So, all the kind of precious things were actually in use by Mrs. Dorling. Some word meanings which you have to keep in mind: picked up, lifted up, rack, frame of wooden bars used for holding things. We do have it in every home. Case box, initially in the beginning, liberation, freedom. Stored, that has been preserved. Stuff, things. Confront, faced with. Connection, relation. In vain, in waste, uselessly. Endured, tolerated. Lent, given to someone. Pulled, dragged. Instantly, suddenly, at once. Fleetingly, lasting for a moment. The things which comes and suddenly goes. Knitted, made through knitting needles. Wool. Cardigan, a knitted woolen jacket. Pale, dim or yellow. Musty, smelling, unpleasant. Emerged, rose. Again about the writer, Sarah Menko, 31st March 1920, age 95, Ginneken, Netherlands, and pen name Maga Menko. Occupation journalist or writer in language Dutch. So what happens actually after the second visit is, when she saw all these things tastelessly arranged in Mrs. Dorling's house, she doesn't like the things, and those things actually aroused pain in her heart. As I told you earlier, if somebody is dead and you see his or her things in a tasteless manner, you stop liking those things or you feel pained. So in this way, looking at all these things, the narrator was very much pained, and so she decides that she would forget that address. She would not take all the belongings back, because the belongings made her remember her mother. So these things were now not valuable for her, these things were painful for her, so she decides to forget the address in the end. This is the story. Okay, narrator goes for 2 visits. In the first visit she is failed, in the second visit she is able to see the things, but the sight of those things caused pain in her and she decides to forget the address. And the next in the next video we'll start deep reading of the text. Have a good day.